Good morning. As we're following along in the Word with the One Year Bible, we're in Luke 11, and it starts in verse 37. And so, as I'm reading the Word, I really like to put myself in the scene, like to be one of the crowd or to be one of the actors in the scene. And so that's what we're going to do today. And so I'm really excited because I feel like we're getting to go to what I'm going to call a tea party with Jesus. And so Jesus is invited to a tea party with one of the Pharisees. So you've got this religious leader, and he's asking Jesus to come to his house. So let's just follow along. So as Jesus is going into this Pharisee's house, into this religious leader's house, he walks in and there's this amazing table set. And around this table are very distinguished guests. And I'm sure the Pharisee was thinking, I'm going to show Jesus how important I am and how distinguished my guests are and who I know. And so as they walk into the room, I'm sure Jesus sees where his place is set here. And then the Pharisee would look at Jesus and probably say, well, I don't know if you've met the other people at this table, but just so you know, they're very important. Like, we have writers of the law and we have speakers of the law. And you know me, I'm a very high religious leader. And so, I want you to know that you're very special for us to invite you here, but I want you to know that you have special guests too. And so another thing that we want you to know is that as we serve you this tea, we have a special blend of tea. It's not just any regular tea. Our fathers, our grandfathers, way back in the day, they had special tea. But theirs followed a strict guidance, and they didn't have freedom, and they didn't have new knowledge and new techniques and new ways to prepare the tea. And so we wanted you to be one of the first ones to get to really enjoy our special blend of tea. We took out some of the ingredients that were in there because they really weren't necessary anymore. And, we added some of our own because we feel like we've grown in knowledge so much that we wanted to represent that in our special blend of tea. And so, Jesus, just let me serve you some of our tea. So, they would have put some tea in Jesus's cup. And Jesus is just sitting there, and I'm sure he's looking around and, thinking, this is different than what it should look like. And so as Jesus is sitting there, I'm going to pretend like I'm Jesus right now. I'm not, but I'm going to pretend. Jesus is sitting there, and he's looking, and he's seeing the special blend, and he's looking at each of these people sitting in the seats, and he looks at this glass, and this cup is beautiful. It's shiny. It's got gold. There's just gold everywhere. And, it's a very uppity tea party, and, he should feel really good about being there. But as he looks at that tea, I love what Jesus does. Jesus has been out in the crowd. He's been ministering to lepers and unclean spirits and just dirty people. He's been ministering and even touching them and like hugging them, and he's been around all these dirty people. And so he starts to reach for that cup, and I can just see his hands, and I can see from their point of view what they're seeing, and they're seeing this dirty hand fixing to touch their beautiful, polished gold cup. And I can just see this Pharisee jumping up and saying, "Don't touch that cup with your dirty hands. How dare you touch this beautiful cup with gold inlaid in it? And we've cleaned it till it's shiny and spotless, and you're literally going to touch it with your dirty hands? Like, I'll probably have to throw that cup away if you touch it. I could never drink out of it again. I could never get it clean enough, like to serve it to other distinguished guests. I can't believe you would do such a thing as that, Jesus." And Jesus is like, I see your cup, and I see the beauty on the outside, but what you don't know is I see what's on the inside. And I see that special blend of tea that you've mixed up, and I see the ingredients that you've put in, but I also see the ingredients that you've left out. And he said, the outside of this cup makes no difference. It's what's on the inside of this cup. And you're literally making up a blend, and you're serving a blend to people that's missing the main ingredient. If people drink from your cup, then they're going to be left wanting. They're going to be left unsatisfied, and they're going to be left undone when it's time to sit at the true table of God. You're giving them a nice looking table, but it's not going to profit them anything. I want you to know that there's only one way to God. There's only one ingredient that's necessary in this cup of tea and in this special blend, and you've removed that. You've removed the main ingredient, which is me, Jesus. And so this whole group around the table is just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe what he's saying. And he's insulting us, and he's accusing us of leaving out the special ingredient, which is Jesus. And so they start ushering him out. They start saying, get out of here, get out of our house. And as Jesus is coming out, there's already a crowd formed outside the door. And as he's coming out, he's looking at his disciples and he's saying, don't drink their tea. He's warning them, don't drink their tea. And I want us to know today that Jesus is giving us the same warning through his word this morning. He's saying, don't drink the tea. What the world is serving up, the new ingredients and the special blend that the world has made to get to God is false. It's going to leave us empty. It's going to leave us void. And in the end, when we're invited to the table of God, we won't be sitting at that table if we haven't drank from the cup of Jesus Christ. Jesus is the only way, the only truth, and the only life. Don't drink the world's tea. Drink his.